Welcome to Bottom of the Barrel.
Hi, folks. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Ben. And we're scraping the bottom of the barrel to find the best, most terrible movies that we can think of and bring them to your attention.
Because you, like us, may for some reason take immense pleasure in such things.
Yes. And I hope that you find it amusing hearing us talk about this stuff. So let's start off with a movie called Scary Tales from 1993.
This one was my choice.
This is a Jeff Choice one. It was a shot on video disaster, written by, I put in my notes, written and directed by some guy.
Not
Um,
Alan Smithy, just some guy,
yeah, just some guy. Yeah. It was, looks like it was shot on camcorders, par
for
for the
sure.
course. The intro is short and sweet. This is an anthology story. And we've got a host who's telling a story to a group of kids. And what does this host look like to you, Jeff?
This host, I would say, is a animatronic Spirit Halloween prop from about 20 years before such a thing existed, or unless they found a somewhat paralytic old man who could not move his joints, and they put a robe and two glowing eyes on him, and he's reading stories from a book to a bunch of kids, and he starts with Satan's necklace.
Satan's necklace, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something. Jeff had asked me to identify the two craziest lines in this movie and write them down, keep them separated, and see if they match with what he thought were the two craziest lines in this movie. And when I reveal what they are, if the reaction doesn't seem to be too excited or surprised, that's because I'm going to show you how the sausage is made here a little bit, folks. We already recorded this episode once, and I forgot to hit record first because I am a dumb shit. I'm such a dumb shit.
Keep that in.
A dumb Canadian shit. So here we go. The two craziest lines in this movie both come from the Satan's Necklace story, and I believe that they are.
I tell you what, I deal with more assholes than a fucking proctologist.
Bingo.
That's number one. And number two is.
I haven't seen pussy in so long, the fucking crack of dawn looks good to me.
You nailed it.
And I believe they were both said by the same character, who is a
Yes.
cop with a
The cop.
mustache, biggest glasses that you've ever seen, um, looking like a straight out of, I believe this is in Philadelphia. I believe this is Philly. And he definitely looks like a Philly cop, if you ask me.
For sure.
So the video effects title screen is straight up out of high school communications technology class in the 90s. I love it. It reminds me of better days when I was a young, carefree teenager who didn't have to worry about the world and its troubles.
Yeah, when you were impressed by any font that wasn't Times New Roman.
And you could do a star wipe. Um, we're greeted by two mulleted guys in this hole in the wall bar that looks like it's definitely somebody's basement. It looks like there's people living all around it too. I don't understand how places like this operate. Um, those type of things don't exist in the place where I live. Maybe they do in Philadelphia. It's really weird. But we're greeted with two mulleted guys. They're both white men, and one of them is doing a wild Stevie Wonder impression. And so we're going right out of the gate at like 80 miles an hour here.
Yeah, they really let you know what you're in for with your two main characters of
Yeah.
Satan's Necklace. They're two angry 90s guys. One, of course, has to be a cop, and they curse and swear excessively when there's no need to. They remind me of bosses I had when I had like part-time jobs in high school. These angry, like working class guys who
Yeah.
just they had to bitch about something or take any conversation and make it somewhat uncomfortable.
So our main two guys are Chuck and Dan. Okay. And Chuck has a he's got a hobby. And his hobby is taking the metal detector out to the local park and looking for stuff. And he swears to his wife that one day this hobby is going to pay off. One day we're going to find something. He hasn't yet, but immediately we're met with two things that I hate in indie films, and that is the shaky cam and sound issues caused by wind when you're outside. And so we're getting that. That sucks. Dan the cop and his pal Chuck are out there metal detecting in what looks like a public park. And I wrote down, do people do this in my notes? Do you do this?
I'm not. Well, I live kind of in a concrete jungle,
Oh, okay.
but I have lived in the woods before, and not once did I ever think to get a metal detector.
Yeah, okay. Well, so they find a Yoo-hoo bottle cap initially, and that seems to be the standard par for the course of what this guy normally finds. But as he's checking out his Yoo-hoo bottle cap, the metal detector starts going off again, like there's something else dug a little bit deeper down there. And as Dan, the cop, is suggestively honking his penis at his friend, he finds buried maybe a half an inch lower under the ground Satan's necklace that has been there for ages eternal.
And where else would you expect to find Satan's necklace but just inches beneath a Yoo-hoo bottle cap in a park in
Exactly.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, as a cop is honking his penis at you, as one does.
He could have summoned it that way. This story may be deeper than we think.
So Chuck puts the necklace on because it is a very pretty Cracker Jack box necklace, and he does not want to give it to his wife, absolutely. He did all the work of digging down an inch under the ground and finding this thing. He's going to reap the rewards. He's going to wear this necklace. And he sees himself with cute little devil horns in the mirror when he puts this necklace on.
It reminds you of Smeagol finding the ring.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They go back to Tom's bar, which has a whole ass dance floor in it for some reason, and people are dancing to this terrible music. The people that live around this place must be very upset because this music sucks. This dance floor sucks, and all the people in that bar suck, to be perfectly honest.
There's not a likable character to be found
Absolutely.
in Satan. Well, I mean, the wife is okay.
She's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom's bar, Dan tells Chuck a dirty joke comparing blondes and computers, and I don't know if do you remember the joke?
Yeah, it was a real early '90s dad zinger. This is the first joke your dad would tell you when you turn 13 and you're starting to become a man, and he wants to let you in on how men talk. He says,
What does a blonde and a computer have in common?
Was it?
You don't appreciate them until they go down on you.
Oh, knee slapper. Yeah, some classic misogynist humor from a Philly cop. What else could you expect, really? Uh,
other than honking your penis at your friend in the public park.
Chuck almost gets into a bar fight with some guy who looks like he's supposed to be the super toughest guy in the bar, but he wouldn't be the super toughest guy in any bar around here.
No. Even in Canada?
Even in Canada, there are some lumberjacks and stuff up here, I guess.
Sure. Bachman
Yeah.
Turner Overdrive. They
Oh
made
yeah.
music for the tough working class.
Yeah. Tom Cochran too, don't forget him.
Life is a highway.
Tom Cochran lives in my town. I've
That's
seen him at
crazy.
Home Depot.
That's amazing.
Okay. Side story about Tom Cochran. Tom Cochran, one year we were at Home Depot buying something or other, and it was Christmas time. And Tom Cochran bought so much Christmas decor and was walking around, trying to get everybody to look at all the Christmas decor I got. I'm Tom Cochran, check me out. And nobody was biting it. Nobody was saying, "Aren't you
Oh,
Tom Cochran?" Poor guy, right?
poor guy. Was he dappled in denim from head to toe?
I don't recall, but he did have his sunglasses on his head.
Well, I'm sure he cashed in on that one song, so good for
Oh
him.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Cars song. So yeah, he almost gets into a bar fight and he makes a mad face. And the mad face is like when you tell a toddler that they're not allowed to have candy for dinner. It's just like one of those faces to
Yes,
let you
that
know that he's evil.
plastered on snarl.
Um, Next we get a super awkward sex scene that is only a dream, but his wife pretty much barfs on him.
My favorite thing about that sex scene, and
Mhm.
it's a sex scene you find in a lot of low budget movies.
Yeah.
They're both fully clothed.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Amazing how they do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and but there was no visible erection like in the
No.
movie Wicked World. But we're gonna have to talk about that movie at some point.
Yes.
So the next morning, Chuck gets dressed up in a nice button-up. He's wearing dress pants and he's wearing fancy loafers, almost like he's going to the office. But he decides to go downstairs and dick around with his metal detector. And he falls asleep doing so. And while he's asleep, he has a dream of that devil guy, the devil version of him, coming up from a puddle in the ground and then killing him or something or other. And he gets woken up by a vacuum because his wife is vacuuming upstairs.
Right, because I mean, Satan's necklace can give you the power, uh, to grow horns out of your head
Yeah.
and murder without remorse. But it's you're not impervious to your wife vacuuming upstairs.
So Chuck is invited to join his partner in a bubble bath. And then what happens? Your third favorite line in the movie
Yes, yes.
happens.
The runner up for best line in the film is he's looking into the mirror and the 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 necklace is taking hold of him, and somehow his nails, you see his nails grow, which was an incredible special effect. I
It
think
was
they just
actually
had
pretty
like
cool.
nails on a board, and his wife asks him,
Hurry up, hon. I'm really getting horny.
yes, and then he sprouts the horns, which is just mwah, chef's kiss, voila.
Yeah. So he manages to rip her heart right out of her chest without disturbing any of the bubbles in that bath.
Mhm.
And it's a really it looks like a really raw heart. Like you were saying that you thought it came from a butcher shop for sure, and it was a
Rough,
cow.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
roughly the size of about half of a cow's heart, which is quite big,
Okay. He
and
took a
he
big old
just
chomp
chomps right
roo.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big old chomp right out of that heart. He's not worried about getting any sort of bacterial infection or anything like that. He's too tough. He's the devil guy. Dan shows up. Dan the cop shows up, and he sees the dead wife in the tub. Bubbles are still fully intact. I don't know how long she's been sitting there, but they have indestructible bubbles in that
Magic
tub.
bubbles.
Yeah, magic bubbles. And Dan also has the smallest gun that I've ever seen a cop use in any movie, anytime.
Surely a starter pistol.
Yep, for sure. Chuck shows us how evil he is by wiggling his eyebrows at Dan like this. I hope I didn't scare anybody at home, showing how evil I am there. And he's also
Terrified.
bulletproof. Sorry?
Yeah. Well, no, I just said I was terrified at the
Exactly.
eyebrow wiggling. It's but yeah, Dan takes a bullet, takes two or three,
Yeah,
and then finally, I guess our cop friend thought of the George Romero law
yeah,
and put one in his head.
yeah.
And you think the Satan's necklace has been laid to rest, but no, no, no.
Nope.
He gets up again one last time before the
One
camera
last time.
cuts.
One last hurrah. One last jump. And then we're on to the next story, which is called Sliced in Cold Blood. This is the story of a guy whose wife is cheating on him, and he finds this out via a note left in her pocket by the guy she's boning down with.
Which was literally like, thanks for the sex.
Yeah, it was a thank you for the
Something like
sex note.
that.
It's always nice to leave a note. I always send a note. Do you always send a note?
I don't send it. I scribble it out real quick before I jump out the window.
Oh boy. So they use some original songs in this production, and they're playing one of them as Beth, the wife of this couple, is traveling back to Bob's house. Bob is the guy that she's screwing. She's traveling back there, and then her husband John is following her, and they're playing this song, and it happens to be playing in both cars at the same time. So maybe it's on the radio. I
Yeah,
have no
sure.
idea. Yeah, it could be. So she's headed back to Bob's house for some more cheat sex. And I wrote in my notes, is this Philadelphia? Because Philadelphia is looking a little rough. Because it looked pretty rough.
Yeah, I've been there, and
Yeah.
it's about on par with what I saw for some
And,
parts of it.
and it wasn't sunny. I was led to believe that it's always sunny in Philadelphia. False advertising.
Why would you think of that? Cue bad sound effect. Wah, wah, wah.
So Beth the wife and Bob, the guy she's cheating with, are smooching in the basement. They're really making out. They're going to town with it. No, it's not in the basement. It's in the living room.
Yeah.
And if it looks like it looked authentic to me. It didn't look authentic to Jeff, but they're actually a married couple in real life.
Yes, and they were going at it with a high deal of awkwardness, and
Yeah.
either they'd never actually done it before and they were saving it for a special occasion, or maybe it's just a case of being on camera for the first time. I don't know.
I forgot the first time we recorded this. I forgot to mention what they said to each other too before they slept to, or before they got involved in all this business. It's like, so who's gonna who tonight? They're like, oh,
You could fuck me, or I could fuck you, or we could fuck each other.
I'll probably have to
And
bleep some of that.
before the pegging could ensue, they were rudely interrupted by a husband scorned.
Yeah, by a husband scorn. Apparently, Bob is an archer because Bob has a bow and a full quiver of arrows in the basement, and John decides to put one of those arrows right through Bob. Bob
Yep.
is downed by an arrow, visibly breathing on the ground, despite the fact that he is dead.
Yep. Despite the expert marksmanship,
Yeah,
still breathing.
absolutely. And then John cuts his wife's throat with a machete. So she's got her throat cut, but she still manages to call him a f***ing bastard as she's dying.
You fucking bastard.
So he wasn't that good with all right, maybe he was so good with it that he managed to not cut her vocal cords and just do superficial damage to her throat.
Yeah, and she maybe was just anemic, hence with all the blood.
Yeah.
And for
But
all we know, she may have survived the ordeal.
until there's a pile full of pillows with her pants attached to the
Oh,
pile full of
right.
pillows, and then he just starts hacking the pile of pillows with the machete. So
Yes.
when you cut somebody's throat, but you don't manage to sever the vocal cords or the trachea, it actually transforms them into a pile of pillows.
And that would make sense
Yeah.
because she had that transformation and he somehow transformed into this evil entity with non-human abilities,
Yeah.
superhuman strength, and to well, eventually he crushes a guy's head,
Yeah.
but first he stops, and there was a guy digging a hole.
Yep, there's a guy digging a hole in the garden in what looks like to be the same park from the first story. For whatever reason, it's the guy who played Dan, the Philadelphia cop, except this time he's wearing a crazy wig. And I think he was wearing the crazy wig just so that they could do the effect where he puts the machete right through the guy's head,
Oh, sure.
and looks better with the fake hair there than just, it would be a harder effect to do, I think, with his head
Yeah, you
bald.
you could not put a
Yeah.
fake machete into this head; it just would not
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. So that's what this guy gets. That's what happens when you dig. You could get a machete to the head, so don't dig
Yeah,
in your
that's what
yard.
the Dig Safe campaign is all
Yeah,
about. It's not
yeah,
about striking gas lines; it's about people with machetes.
absolutely. So this guy, he gets his head chopped. Clever. This is classic bottom of the barrel practical effects that we're dealing with here. Next, we come up with the guy who Jeff is talking about, who gets Jason Voorhees. But he's a sloppy goober who's
We'll call him Barney.
he's a
And
slop. Yeah.
I have an affinity for Barney because Barney's living the dream. He is sitting on his front lawn in a lawn chair, belly hanging out, sweatpants too small. He's listening to he's cranking some tunes on his headphones, drinking a beer, and he just happens to have the same voice as Barney Gumble of Simpsons fame.
Yeah.
And he runs out of beer, and he calls for Bernice, I'm assuming his wife, to bring him
Yeah.
another beer.
Hey, Bernice! I need another beer!
And Bernice took her vows very seriously because
Yeah.
Bernice comes right out with a beer for Barney. And what happens next?
So Barney gets his head squeezed, gets his head popped by this superhuman strength. His eyes pop out, and it's very funny. It looks very comical. These eyes popping out of the head.
Clear ping pong balls painted like eyes, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then the camera zooms in on his bare belly, which is also very funny.
I
It's the
forgot about that close up.
it's the icing on the
I
cake of the
tried to
whole thing.
forget.
But then this guy, but then John decides that he's going to end Bernice as well, and Bernice deserves better because she has to put up with this shithead, and she gets him his beer and all that stuff. But
And
Bernice
she's
gets killed
finally
next.
free to go experience
Yeah,
life, but no, she gets macheted.
yeah, and you know what? Another power that John seems to have acquired through this, through his wife cheating on him, is the power of having extraordinarily tidy pants. Because this dude is wearing white pants, and he's not getting any blood splatter on anything. He's the cleanest killer in town. So next he comes across a guy who's trying to rob and assault a woman. John interrupts this by splitting the guy's head with a machete and then pulling the head apart. And it actually
And
looked pretty good.
and tremendous effects. One of my
Yeah,
favorite in the whole movie, besides
yeah,
the head getting Barney's head getting crushed.
yeah.
And you think perhaps this is going to be his call back to reality, his conscience coming alive once again. But no,
No,
no, he kills the living shit out of the woman as well, who
yeah.
was
She's
gonna
not off the
die
hook.
anyway.
Yeah. You got to get rid of all the witnesses, right? So the next guy that John meets is the best. He's a guy who's talking on a payphone, which is for the kids out there. Payphones are something that used to exist back in the olden days, where you used to be able to go to a gas station or something and call somebody on a phone where you had to push buttons and talk into a phone and not just carry your own phone.
Yep, and
That's
in the states, it would cost you about a quarter
yeah,
before the payphones met their tragic end.
yeah. That's a history lesson for the young ones out there, just so that you know where we're coming from here. So this guy, this is the best kill. He gets stabbed through the gut, and then he gets his head hacked off, and the head looks very silly. It's a very funny head.
Yeah, it's despite getting hacked off and all the muscles in the face going slack, it somehow
Yeah.
kept this same singular expression on it the whole time.
And then that's the end of the story. John's rampage is just over. He's like, work is done. Whew, feels much better. And we move on to the next story.
Well, first we have a brief return
Oh,
to the
right.
wraparound
Yeah.
segment where our animatronic crypt keeper suddenly makes you think he's done, and then he decides to ask his audience if they'd like one more, and he says something to the effect of,
Well, just one more.
which is clearly what the writer slash director said because he must have realized he only had 40 minutes of time filled and had to throw something together real quick.
Yeah.
So he realized he did have time, and that's how we got level 21.
And level 21 is about video games. So this one starts off with two office workers who are sitting looking at porno mags together in the office while they're at work because there's nothing more fun than getting boners with your friends.
As yes, as we do, as we are doing right now while we
As we're
talk
doing.
about our favorite
Yeah.
movies.
We're honking our penises at each other right now. Very funny. You can't tell, but that's exactly what we're doing. Their boss, who is the cop from the first story and the gardener from the second story, he's sporting another crazy wig. He comes in and he gets mad at his two numbskulls who are looking at porno mags, and he snakes their magazine too. He takes it
I'm not paying you two clowns to beat off the girly magazines all day.
because that guy
Yeah.
is he doesn't have any work to do. He's middle management.
No.
One of the two guys is at home later, and it's the guy who played Bob in the previous story, the husband who was, or sorry, not the husband, the guy who the wife was cheating with, is Bob, and he's addicted to a video game. And I was a teenager in 1993 when this movie came out, and I feel like I should recognize the game, this computer game that this guy's playing, because it looks really familiar. Like it's one of those Dungeons and Dragons game that was out, like Eye of the Beholder or something like that.
Very early RPG.
Yeah, and they show it sometimes, and other times he's looking at a blank screen and hammering on his keyboard like they do in movies. And sometimes it's like booting up. His computer's booting up and he's doing that, and he's playing a game. But the next thing that happens is probably the best showcase of acting in the whole movie. And this guy's son comes down as he's playing this video game. He's desperately trying to get to level 21. He's got to get out of level 20. This kid's this kid with a hangdog expression comes down the stairs and says, "Dad."
Remember you promised to play ball with me.
He said,
Oh, not today. Look, I'm really busy.
and this kid walks away with this Michael Cera Arrested Development look on his face, just walking away.
And the best performance of the film, because it was the one piece of acting that actually made me feel something.
Yeah, a little
Other
tear in your eye.
than ironic entertainment and laughter. The poor kid.
So this guy's wife comes down the stairs and she starts giving him the business. Okay, like you said you were going to play ball with the kid and you're just still stuck playing on that video game. And he promises that he's done playing the game. He promises. But he's not because he's still playing the game. This guy even starts playing the game at work. And this is
Very next
long
day.
before, yeah, this is long before we had things like World of Warcraft or anything like that. Like video game addiction became a thing. Movie's a bit ahead of its time.
Yeah, I mean, we barely had 16-bit consoles at this
Yeah.
point.
So yeah, this guy is a huge problem now. Um, so Myron, the office nerd, friggin' Myron comes around the corner and he says, "You know what? I've been to level 21," and nobody believes Myron because Myron's a nerd, right? Friggin' nerd. But Myron's new, and he says that he's been to level 21. And just that very evening, this guy happens to get to level 21, and then his computer gasses him. Like just green gas comes out of his computer. I've never had that happen to me playing a video game, but I suppose it could.
A couple times, but what didn't happen was I didn't wake up in a field
Yeah.
inside the game, which is what
Yeah.
happened to our protagonist here.
Usually when I'm playing computer, the green gas is coming out of me, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
So he encounters a guy, a little guy. And I don't think that they could find a real little guy to play the little guy in this movie. So they did a Dorf on golf situation, and they had a
all right.
regular sized guy with his shoes on his knees.
And somehow managed to, I believe, kick our protagonist in the crotch.
Yeah, I thought he kicked him in the shin, but I guess it could have
I
been
might
the
have been the
crotch.
shin.
Yeah,
My
because
mind
this
always goes straight to the crotch.
yeah, and this guy was not wearing any lower body protection, so he spawned into the game wearing some armor, but he's still wearing his jogging pants and his sandals.
You know, the type of gladiator you would find
Yeah.
in level 21 in
Yeah, for
Philadelphia.
sure. Yeah, I mean you have to have some good sweatpants if you're going to get to level 21.
Yeah.
Most of the guys I know who've been to level 21 constantly wear their sweatpants.
Yes, the Costanza.
So he meets a friend, and I can't remember much about this friend other than he was a long-haired guy and he seemed to be like a martial artist of some sort. And they meet some ninjas. And then a guy dressed as an ogre appears. And the ogre is incredible. It's an incredible effect that they created with this ogre. He's the best. He's swinging around a big tree trunk type club thing, and his weapon breaks the first time he swings it. And I don't know if it was on purpose or if it was an accident because the guy started to laugh when it happened, and I'm not sure.
No, and it was not an evil ha ha ha
Yeah.
laugh. It was a ha ha shit.
I can't believe I'm doing this. There's a lot more fake blood than I was expecting in this particular story, in a fantasy story. And there's also a lot of glare on the camera from the sun, which was kind of annoying too.
It was perhaps the one outdoor scene where the sun was shining.
Yeah. The Dark Overlord appears. He's disguised as a woman. You can see it coming 1,000 miles away that this is actually the Dark Lord, and he's in disguise. And he looks exactly like Jerry Only from the Misfits.
Yes, he loses the feminine mystique, and
Yeah.
suddenly there he is, devil lock and all.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say anything about Jerry Only's Devil Lock being potentially fake. like I did the first time we recorded this because I don't want to get sued by the Misfits.
Well, it might not be fake, but it comes from the back of his neck because he has about as much hair on top of his head as I do.
Damn, son.
Oh boy. The Dark Lord is actually Myron the Office Nerd. We find out partway through this. After we get some sweet 90s video effects, and someone pushes a sword up from the ground, and we get a sword fight between the two. I thought
One
the
of the
sword through
better
the ground was,
effects of the
yeah,
film, the hand
yeah.
coming up from the grass was with the sword was majestic even.
I thought that was pretty cool, yeah. So, yeah, the Dark Overlord is Myron the Office Nerd. And then this one ends with one of those it was all a dream or was it situations. So he kind of wakes up at the computer, and then there's one of those things where he opens the door and the Dark Lord is there again. But I would prefer to think that this guy spent too long at the computer, had a brain aneurysm, died, and this was the what we're experiencing here is the last bits of his synapses firing off as they propel themselves towards oblivion.
And yeah, and I think it's possible you're overthinking, but like David Lynch said, if you give the viewer closure, you give the viewer no reason to watch your movie ever again. Which I'm sure was exactly what they were thinking with this film.
And that's all three parts of Scary Tales. Jeff, what do you rank Scary Tales from 1993 out of 10?
Masterpiece, 10 out of 10, no question about it.
Well, I'll tell you, thinking about the indestructible bubbles, thinking about the impossibly clean white pants after a bloody mass murder attack, and a guy wandering the forest wearing his sweatpants and his sandals fighting ogres, I'm also going to have to give this movie a 10 out of 10.
So it is written, so it is done.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Bottom of the Barrel. And I really hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about this bullshit movie. And I hope that you tune in again to our channel, or to my channel. And then I'm also going to collaborate with Jeff's channel, where you can
No,
watch
it's
his.
my channel now.
It's your channel. It's
Yes.
become your channel, where you can watch his movie, The Haunting of Randy.
Yes, as you should. It's a little 25-minute short
Yeah.
film my wife and I made on a hot summer day just to do something fun.
Yes. So, subscribe to Jeff, subscribe to me, and we'll bring more content like this to you next week. We'll see you later.